Senzo Meyiwa murder trial continues in the High Court in Gauteng today. The focus has moved from testimony on cell phone calls to ballistics. Now, music legend and producer Sello Chicco Twala has dismissed claims that his son Longwe was involved in Meyiwa's murder. All right, for more on this, let's cross now to our reporter covering the trial, Griselda Lewis. Griselda, good morning. So, of course, this trial has been long in the making, but we finally are seeing some movement. So talk to us about proceedings and what we can expect today.
Well, in fact, Sakina, we are at the Randburg Magistrates Court instead, and you would recall this is where the son of musician as well as producer Chicco Twala, that's Longwe Twala, had appeared in this court behind me last week facing charges of theft as well as robbery. You'd recall that stems from his father opening up a case against him. His father had gone to the United States of America, and it's alleged that Longwe Twala and his brother had broken into the house of his father and stolen equipment amounting to a couple of thousands of rand. So we're not at the Senzo Meyiwa trial this morning. In fact, we're at the Randburg Magistrates Court, and Longwe Twala is expected back at this court here this morning. You'd recall last week the case had been postponed to obtain bail information. For example, to verify the address where Longwe Twala would stay should he be granted bail, and other nitty-gritties that need to happen before a bail hearing itself is heard. But you would recall last week, Sakina, when Longwe Twala had appeared in this court, much of the focus then shifted away from this case of alleged robbery and theft that he is facing, but a lot of the focus then shifted to the statements that were made by his father, Chicco Twala, in that you recall in the High Court in Pretoria, the defense had maintained that the Longwe Twala, who you'd recall was one of the occupants that were inside the house at the time that Senzo Meyiwa was killed, the defense maintaining that Longwe Twala had something to do with the death of Senzo Meyiwa, and in fact he had shot Senzo Meyiwa after there'd been a scuffle inside the home of Kelly Khumalo's mother in Vosloorus, of course that being the crime scene. So while the matter that was being attended to last week pertaining to these allegations of robbery as well as theft at his father's home, a lot of the focus shifted to that, in which his father was also asked questions on the basis of what the defense had contended inside the High Court in Pretoria at the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. The defense saying that Chicco Twala's gun had been used to shoot Senzo Meyiwa. There'd been some scuffle inside the house, but you must also recall that Chicco Twala's weapon had also been taken for ballistics testing, and what we heard from the ballistics expert Chris Mangena was that there'd been no match found on the gun of Chicco Twala. So you would know, of course, then that the sentiments that had been shared by his father last week was that his son has got nothing to do with the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. He actually described it as nonsense, also saying that he had never lost his gun, and the assertions that are being made by the defense that his gun was used to kill Senzo Meyiwa are far from the truth.
UV? Well, thank you so much for that, Griselda Lewis. And of course, she will be keeping us up to speed with the developments in that particular case.